في الحياة لا تبالي.
The readings, whether that continued onwards, so we should be able to find other manuscripts in the posterity that continues this reading.
This is what Daniel Brubaker came up with. He saw that in the most earliest 6 to 10 manuscripts, between them, there's major inconsistencies between each one of those.
Sorry.
So we've
You're making generalization again. Has Dan Brubaker provided examples of a particular manuscript variant, like a change, and that change continued throughout, and it has this evolution across different manuscript families?
Well, that's
point number one.
a slightly different argument.
That's not the same argument.
It is.
Because if it's a theological, doctrinal, political expedient where it's been a change, we should see the reflection of that change carrying on rather than being dead within that manuscript. There should be other manuscripts continuing to have the same changes.
The only problem with that is that there isn't a great chain of manuscripts from those manuscripts to today. So there's a lot of difficulty in getting that level of historical evidence.
There are about 250,000 manuscripts in the world today. So we should be able to find if this was a change by a group of people or something, intentional change in the Quran, reflected in other manuscripts. Have we found this manuscript tradition? Number one. Secondly, within the same time frame, are there other manuscripts of the same change within the same place? Has he done that?
Yes.
Where?
So
he didn't mention that in his PhD. He didn't mention that in his book. So where did he mention it?
So what we're saying is
he's living for his website.
Right.
Is that what he's doing?
But that's going to be all the substantial backing of that research.
But he hasn't even provided an example yet in his book that J. Smith wrote. Did he provide an example?
So in the example we have is that between the Sana manuscript, which had an issue, which I think was Surah 66 verse 8, Ayah 8.
What about it?
That was a change or whatever you want to call it in the Sana manuscript, but then when you went to the Topaki manuscript, that verse is not there. So there is also an issue with that manuscript as well.
Verse not there?
Yeah.
So you have within the Sana a whole verse missing?
No. In the Topaki,
are you saying in the top copy a whole verse from Sana is missing?
Yes.
Which one? The undertext or overtext?
66.8. The whole verse.
66.8.
Yeah. So there are two manuscripts there with...
Let's have a look. 66.8.
Yep.
Top copy doesn't have a verse missing. It has the word Lam Lam Ha missing of the word Allah. So part of the name of Allah is dropped out. Right. So not the whole word, because Alif is clearly there. So you're saying what? In the Sana?
Sana. So what is it in the Sana?
No? It has nothing to do with Sana. The Sana manuscript that I have, Dam 121.3, has this verse. Has this word Allah in it.
I'm using the wrong verse there, but there is a verse which is not in one manuscript and it's a change in the other.
In his book, he has not provided any example of a verse, only words. Only words, not verse.
Well, there is a verse.
So now, talking about 66.8, did Dan provide manuscripts from the same time and earlier? Because I have already given you an example here. Manuscripts from same time period, carbon dated. This has the word.
So what I'm saying to you is...
So what I'm saying is, Dan Brubaker is guilty of using a very bad method to provide that there has been a change. Before you back to differ, let me tell you why his method is very weak and like a high school child. Sorry to say that. To say that this has been an intentional change, you need to provide, as I said, contemporary manuscript witness. So you need to do a schematics. Provide a family of manuscripts before, same time, and afterwards. He has not given any examples. When we look at manuscripts from the same time period, look, I'll give you an example. One example. So if I give you an example from the Sana, the Berlin manuscript manuscript in the Berkshire Archive, Memphis, Cairo, Paris, the BNF manuscripts, 1, 2, another one. We see the word is there. So if we have a manuscript which is of the same time period even earlier, and this one has the word Allah, and we have a manuscript which he's giving that doesn't have Allah, so out of 10 manuscripts, if one of them doesn't have it, what conclusion are you going to make? You're going to make a conclusion that this is a scribal error, because all the other manuscripts have the same word within the text. Dan Brubaker, unfortunately, has been very guilty of not doing research properly, or not putting out his research that he's done it properly.
So let me, if you like, respond to what you're saying.
Yeah, see what I can respond.
So one of the issues we got here is when you look at an insertion where,
Give me an example. Which?
like this verse, where a word is missing, and then later on a scribe.
Not later. Oh, later.
Very likely to be later.
Yeah, no, this one is later. No, this one is a later correction. Yeah,
Right.
correct.
So with an insertion, what that is demonstrating, and only demonstrating, is that the scribes are making mistakes. Okay?
That's what we say.
One second. But there are other different types of errors and different differences and variations
Let's talk about one
which are more significant.
Wait. This is another argument. Example by example. So this particular example that Dan Brubaker provided, has he provided manuscript from the time before, the same time, or after?
Yeah.
Where?
So what he's done is he's looked at the fact the last.
Why did he not put it in his book?
He's only put it's only a snippet. So
No. If he's going to provide an
20
example in
examples.
his book, it is only fair and reasonable and of an academic integrity to say that I looked at other manuscripts and I didn't find this change. Or I found the change.
Well, let me put it this way. Let's see what the arguments he is putting forward and the reasons why he's putting it forward.
He's
That's
already
interesting.
published a book for no reason. Are you going to throw this book in the bin?
No, I don't agree.
Are we going to throw his book in the bin?
No, not at all.
Right. So if he's authored a book, made certain claims, fluidity and flexibility of the Quranic text, why has he missed this crucial point? Why?
One second, because it depends what you're trying to substantiate. So let's look at the different types of errors and variations he's found.
Give me an example.
No, I don't have the information and I've got to go. But what I'd like to do is I will put something together and we'll go through an example of all the different types and we'll go through it. And if it takes an hour, it takes an hour. But I'm happy to go through that with you.
My friend.
So I'm not running away.
My friend.
I do have to go.
I have all the 20 examples he's got.
Great.
So what I'm saying is,
Fine.
he is guilty for doing a very poor research out.
Give me the benefit.
No, I'm not going to give you the. What I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, the book that is authored, a very bad one. Because if he's providing examples of correction and making claims as he's done, he makes a claim. Do you want to see what his claim is making? Is that his book?
Yes, that's his book.
Good. Do you know what his claim is making? Flexibility and fluidity of the text. Now, to make these claims, he should have given examples to substantiate across the manuscripts. Families doing estimata. He hasn't done that.
What is his initial premise?
Wait. He is trying to make certain claims as a missionary, like always. All missionaries make claims. He's not a scholar, like suddenly become a scholar. He's a missionary. He got his PhD as a supervisor, helping from Keith Small and others. And just like now, Dan Brubaker is doing his supervision to Ali Al-Fadl, right? You are doing supervising, helping with other missionaries and getting PhDs like the buckets, right? An easy way of doing it. So real scholarship is really being what we call, the real scholarship is now being hampered. So now, Dan Brubaker, now, you have to go.
No. Can I just get the title of the book? I've got the wrong. Oh, it's the Daniel Boot, okay.
Yeah, so he makes claims of fluidity. Let me just quickly, because you have to go, right? I'm going to just show you some example. Page 9 and 35. This is what he's trying to say. I have documented appear to have nothing. Sorry, corrections I have documented appear to have nothing to do with the reading arrest in the secondary literature. So correction must represent at least some cases another phenomenon, such as perhaps a greater degree of perceived flexibility of the Quran Quran text in its early centuries, the time of the production of this manuscript that is documented in the Quranic literature. He makes similar claims in two other places. What he hasn't done to demonstrate this kind of fluidity by showing examples in his book. He published a book and it's like a half research. If you're going to make a claim, substantiate it. So he hasn't given examples of other manuscripts from the same time period and earlier. To give you an example, my friend, very quickly, right? Okay. Just give me a second. So if you were to take his first example, right? First example. This one. Has he done manuscript studies from other manuscripts from the time? This is a time period from Topkapi.
Yeah.
We have manuscripts that is the same time period. Here, this one, that one, that one, that one. And this one probably even earlier. Even earlier, perhaps. So we have the British Library. Yeah, 2165. So, if it's not the same time period, but it could be even earlier. The other manuscripts here, as I mentioned, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 manuscripts. One of them has a scribal mistake. All the others have the same text that we read today. Any scholar of academic integrity will tell you that doesn't sound like an intentional change. It seems like a scribal mistake.
I agree.
Thank you.
However,
That's all this book is showing. Mistakes by scribes happen. It doesn't have any bearing on the preservation of the Quran. It proves the opposite. The Quran has been preserved.
I would say there's more to this. There's other aspects which we need to come onto the...
What example do you want to talk about it? Which?
I don't have anything to hand, so I will bring that to you.
Fine, we will talk about it.
Yeah,
Don't worry
we'll
about
talk
it.
about it.
And it's as I said, this is like a high school work.
What we see.
Before Brubaker, our Muslim scholars already highlighted how manuscripts have errors in during its transmission. It's not just Quran is a special. Every manuscript in the handwriting transmission suffered scribal errors. But to make a point where these are intentional change in the Quran, you have to have your evidence for it.
Here's one of the things that it does suggest.
Like?
Is that when you look at the Quran, there are differences when you look at the Quran. A good example is between the Hafs Quran, the Wash Quran, and the Dewey Quran. So what we're saying is,
What has he done in manuscripts?
through those processes, through those attempts at scribal text, has borne through the process variations.
Has he given any example of has he even given an example in these 20 examples about how a new reading has changed because of this form?
So we have, we're saying, I don't know what
We're talking about manuscripts.
I'm talking about-
You're talking about something different.
No. I'm talking about the
Brubaker.
latest manuscripts.
We're
We have
talking-
variations. That's born out from this.
No.
So-
Are you saying the manuscripts tradition do not have our qira'at within them? They do.
So I shouldn't say they don't have, but it's not as perfect or as...
Exactly as we read. The traditions are so robust, not only in our oral transmission, as well as in the manuscripts.
So-
We have manuscripts backing up with our oral transmission.
Here's the issue we got. Through the original oral traditions, we've got the original scholars. I can't remember their names. There's three main ones that tried to basically put forward the first Quran. They were in disagreement. That's documented.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay, so the very first Quran that was in about 652. So around 652,
The very first Quran that was documented,
claimed.
all Muslims anonymously agreed to it. It was a Muslim
that's not the
consensus.
documentation I've seen.
What documentation have you seen?
So I've seen that there's been a variation or a disagreement on
By
what
who?
that first Quran was. So the three main. I can provide that
The
information.
only
I will provide
companion was Abdullah bin
Fine, I'll
Mas'ud,
provide it.
who later...
There were three. There were three. So I'll provide that information.
Please
That's
do,
fine.
please do.
And then from that, then came the second one, which was 652. I think 652 was the second one. And that was when Uthman put and standardized the Quran. And what he did is he looked at so many different variations of the Quran that he then, from that issue, because there was the battles going on as well, where a lot of those Qurans were being destroyed, had an issue with trying to formalize a standard Quran. So when he did formalize
That's not how it was standardized. That's not the reason for standardization.
because due to the battle and then
That was not the
issue.
reason. No,
Because
that
a lot
was
of
not
Qurans
the
were
reason for standardization. In the battle, Muslims were arguing with each other. You know what they were arguing? They were not arguing your Quran is a different Quran. They're arguing my recitation is better than yours. That's what they're arguing. To stop to this argument, he produced a standard text where
We can provide some. Well, I'll bring some documentation of what was said, and then we'll look at it. Yeah.
people tried. You have no documentation. Smith
Yes,
tried,
okay.
Hatton tried, and they all failed.
happy
Why?
to do
It
that.
doesn't exist. The documentation in our authentic
I'll
literature.
provide some evidence.
Please do. In our authentic
More than
literature, is something, as I said, the reason why Muslims were disagreeing, in Azerbaijan,
Right, I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm sure you can appreciate. I can't take your word for it. And,
that's our literature.
And,
That's our historical literature.
that's your version of it.
Not my
But
version.
yeah.
This is the only version.
It's what's coming out of your mouth, so I can only assume it's what you believe.
See if you can find anything different.
Yes, exactly. So I will do.
Please
Come
do.
back to you.
Please do.
Fair enough.
Take care. Sam, where's Sam? How do you stop it? What's the stop button? Okay. Where's the stop button?